Dr. Jill Stein returns with a vengeance. Dr. Jill Stein returns back with a left hook, right hook. And I got to say, over these past couple of days here, Jill Stein has been aggressive and unapologetic, calling out the Democrats and the Republicans and how the representatives of both parties are throwing us under the bus. And to be clear here, as much as I'm fascinated by the moves of the Trump administration, we got to keep a clear eye out here, folks. None of these politicians are saviors. I mean, the problems that followed us, the problems that happened in 2024 have followed us in a straight line into 2025. We are in some serious danger here. And I'm not holding my breath and thinking that these politicians are going to change anything. Nothing will fundamentally change. But we got this problem here, especially with the Democrats who are a roadblock, because when the workers strike back had their live stream, Bernie Sanders wanted to do his live stream too. But first, I want to play this video here. Shout out to Dr. Jill Stein. And of course, Sabbath Sabs, who's been doing fantastic work, by the way. So be sure to check out her show. But I just want to play this. This was before the workers strike back.
The people who are being shut out of the political system are voting with their feet. So there was by no means here, a mandate for Donald Trump, which he's trying to claim right now. There's very much a mandate to change the system because so many people are just tired of being thrown under the bus. They are sick of the struggle, the fight back that you see in the support for Luigi Mangione and his assassinating a healthcare CEO. The support for that just reflects how utterly desperate people are about our healthcare, about our housing. Our dollars are being spent not on our benefit, and people are struggling to survive and are looking at candidates being rammed down our throats by the corporate media, which is telling us that we are powerless, we don't count, and that resistance is futile. The biggest way people give up power is by not knowing we have it to start with. This is about recognizing that power and actually getting organized to use it, because that's the only thing standing in the way of us really moving forward. Donald Trump is so, what should we say, just horrifically overconfident right now in what he thinks he's doing. In his inauguration speech, he didn't have a word to say about everyday people and working people and the crises in our lives. He had absolutely nothing to say about it, and bashing immigrants is not going to make life better for anybody, not only the immigrant community, but everybody else who depends on migrants for our food, for our small businesses, for our restaurants, for construction. The American economy is going to really tank in a very big way with the policies that Donald Trump is in the process of implementing right now. So expect this rebellion to grow very big and very fast.
Now, the thing is, when we were doing a post-duopoly show, we had members of the New Jersey Green Party even shout us out and give us a thank you, because we here at Hardlands Media interviewed members of the Green Party that were running for offices in New Jersey. We're happy to do that and give a voice to independents. But just a moment of criticism here. This is directed at the Greens and the Libertarians and any other potential third party. Now is the time to redouble and strengthen your efforts to do community outreach, community organization, and actually knowing the laws of your state and actually building up the infrastructure and teams necessary to handle all problems, be it from media censorship to legal issues that will prevent you from being on the ballot. Unfortunately, we all know that different states have varying laws for the third parties if they want to get on the ballot or be on the debate stage. And that's a thing that you're going to have to really get your message out. And you have 4 years to do some phenomenal work. And that means leadership is going to have to adapt and change. And I want to see success amongst third parties. I want to see that. But if you cannot take advantage of this time and also realize that you are in a competitive race right now, because the Democrats are throwing out their champions, AOC and Bernie Sanders, to try and get people a sheepdog back in the Democrat Party. And a lot of people will be suckered into that if things continue to get progressively worse. And now we got to tell people, like, yes, things will get worse, but relying on the Democrats to change things is a fool's notion. Real quick here, I want to play some highlights from that event in which Jill Stein was speaking at the workers' strike back. So real quick, I just want to switch things up here and play this video here. So check it out.
Israel cannot conduct genocide without us, and we do not consent. And the traction for that is with our elected leadership. We need to throw these bums out. We need to organize. We need to prepare for the general strike, and we need to run them out of office. Thank you all so very much. I look forward to working together. Our work has only just begun. Thank you.
Now, real quick here, just so you all know, I would never hear Bernie Sanders or AOC speak like that. Now, the squad will show up at a protest event, a glorified parade, but they'll never talk like that. And also, it's very important to remember that with the amount of money and tax cuts that are happening, both parties have contributed to this.
On that other issue about taxes, you'll see that quote on the bottom. Obama passed a larger tax cut than Trump's tax cut. Well, actually, Obama didn't pass it. He just made the Bush tax cuts permanent. So even on that issue of tax giveaways to the super wealthy, that is not just an issue of of the Republicans. It's the Democrats as well. On that other.
So see, they both screw us up the wazoo. I also want to play a short video here. Shout out again to Due Dissidents and Brianna Joy Gray. They had Jill Stein on. This was on Due Dissidents show the other day, so everyone be sure to check out Due Dissidents. But this was rather an interesting conversation, especially because even if Kamala Harris got into office, she'd be beholden to her billionaire donors as well.
This is just a continuation of the billionaires who continue to own both political parties. Trump may have had, bigger donors. In fact, I don't know if you are aware of this. I was blown away. 44% of Trump's donations came from 10 people.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that until you said that.
That is in.
Well, it makes sense when you look at Elon's donations alone.
It totally does. Yeah. And then the woman, the widow of
Mira
Sheldon
Adelson, yeah.
Mira
So there you go.
Adelson,
That's $350
so
million
the two
right
of
there.
them right there.
Yeah.
But basically his campaign is serving 10 people. And they have just a massive manufactured consent campaign around that. But people don't support it, even with, this 24/7 wall-to-wall propaganda. People don't support this, and the numbers are increasingly turning against Trump as well on the specifics of his policy. He now has a net negative rating in terms of his approval.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to the economy, I mean, Americans are worried about the overall, and I do mean this, the overall continuation and downfall of, their wallet, their buying power. And if Americans are incapable of buying things or either that, trying to pay their bills, I mean, you're going to see more desperation on the streets. You're going to see more anger. You're going to see more confusion. And I want to play this video here from Case Study QB because I said before that the number one issue that is going to be on everyone's mind during the election is going to be the economy. And it's going to be a mainstay because, when I go grocery shopping, I'm going to speak for myself. When I see eggs going for $12.99, I think they're out of their mind. So Jill Stein speaking out against a two-party system is correct. And that corporate media is going to be yelling at her. But here's the other thing that I want to issue to third parties. You can't be relying on the same people over and over again. Yes, it's good to hear Jill Stein speak, and she's speaking truth to power. But third parties, Greens in particular, to the young people who are volunteering or either that stepping up for leadership roles, you got to get aggressive. And that means even going on to independent media networks that will challenge you. And as much as I'm a supporter for third parties, you guys got to start putting in the fight, especially for the Greens and, yes, the Libertarians here in Illinois. Our state is notoriously harsh and draconian towards you guys. When I say that we need to start focusing on citizen ballot initiatives, community outreach, mutual aid, these are the things necessary to build a foundation and support. And, this might be a little shocking, but just because someone might think politically different than you doesn't mean that they're your enemy. And there's a lot of things that I find myself agreeing with everyone across the political spectrum. I think all of us agree that our wallet's hurting and the tax cuts going to the top 1%. We're all furious at that because no one here is getting a fair deal. Case in point, right here. And it's up to us to get ourselves out of this nightmare.
JD Vance said last week, you got to give them time, even though that's not what they promised in the campaign. They said they bring prices down day one. But what is the view of the future economy then?
Yeah, so this is the current economy. How about the future economy? Is the economy getting worse or better? And all I can say is, yikes. yikes. Again, compare it to where we were in the first term at this point, April of 2017, 53%. The majority said it was getting better. How about now in February of 2025? The majority say it's getting worse. 59% compared to just 35% who say it's getting better. Worse is higher now than at any point in Trump's first term pre-COVID. This number, to me, is much more worrisome, perhaps the worst number I've seen for Trump on the economy, because it says even if the economy now isn't great, they also project that it's only going to get worse from here. This is a big, big yikes.
And
Well, I wish you wouldn't just say it's a big, big yikes, but why is it becoming a big, big yikes? Is there something that we need to know about? There's still all this talk about, checking out the Federal Reserve, or checking out even Fort Knox. Do we have any gold in there, or is there going to be or is it like when we open up Fort Knox, right? And the gateway opens and people walk in there. It's a big old echo chamber. And then everyone's going to see a little white piece of paper on the floor, and it's going to be an IOU with a sad face. How bad is this? How much money have we spent? How much money have we lost on these frivolous, stupid wars? On these pointless interventions? Did we just blow all the money away? The Democrat and Republican presidential administrations that for a long time were defended by corporate media just really screw us over. I mean, now I kind of know how the ancient Romans felt in a way, and I don't like it because it's going to get worse. And all this talk that third parties are a danger. Well, how much more danger is a Green Party or Libertarian candidate than compared to these Democrats and Republicans who've been in office for years? I'm holding my breath, because if they open up Fort Knox and there's nothing in there, it's just apt, or either that there's some gold missing or there's some other inconsistencies. Democrats and Republicans, why should you be trusted? And how many of you have known just how terrible things truly are? Just want to rewind this a little bit.
For Trump on the economy, because it says even if the economy now isn't great, they also project that it's only going to get worse from here. This is a big, big yikes.
And fold in inflation, just like general views on inflation.
Yeah, okay. So I think the question is, what's exactly cooking here? What is going on? There's this whole idea that Trump was going to bring down inflation, right, Kate? So what are Americans actually saying? Are Google searches for inflation going down or going up? They're going up. They're up 123% from February of 2017. And more than that, perhaps even more important, they're up 23% from last month. Americans' fears about inflation are not going away. They are as interested in it as they were by the end of the Joe Biden administration. And the bottom line is they're far more interested in it than they were at any point during Donald Trump's first term. As I said at the beginning, the reboot, the sequel, is not being anywhere near as well received as the original when it comes to Donald Trump and the economy.
Let us see. Harry, thank you so much for laying it out for us.
Thank you.
JD Vance.
So in other words, just to be clear here, everything that Jill Stein said about the two-party system screwing us over is based in fact. Everything that Jill Stein and third parties have been saying about the two-party system hurting Americans, controlling the narrative. Why should we vote Democrat or Republican? Why should we? It doesn't matter who sits on the throne. It's abundantly clear that our problems still remain and they're not being fixed. Keep your heads on a swivel out there. And to third parties and independents, now's the time for you to step up your game. I'm going to be paying attention and watching how you guys build your movements up. I'll be a cheerleader. I'll be more than happy to support and give you guys a shout out, interview third-party candidates and all of that. But if you are not going to lay down strong infrastructure and strong platforms to start inspiring people to start, pushing back against this wave of corruption, step aside for people who will. Now's the time to fight back.